are now tuned into Native Collective.
Native Collective is a private membership club founded by LA natives that empowers entrepreneurs, entertainers, creators, and executives by providing them resources, a voice, and a community to build with. Native Collective Studios provides fire marketing content and production-related services to our members to truly give them a voice. Native Collective Studios began with our own podcast, Ing in LA, a podcast all about LA, and Legacy Blueprint, a business and money-based podcast. We plan to provide a host of other member-driven services and open our flagship location in the best city in the world, LA, and expand to Native Miami.
Native Collective.
So, what's next for Native? When you think about all of the sort of tribulations we've been through, you think about Tony, the host, leaving the show unceremoniously. You think about Jerry, who was assisting the business, leaving the company. You think about Tony, the producer, stepping back and not really taking a role in the production of the show or the podcast. And where does that leave us? I mean, after all of those exits, it definitely makes you wonder, and I have wondered several times, should we really be doing this? Is this going to work out? Is this telling me something, that maybe we're not meant to be doing this right now? It definitely makes you think about all these things. But then I also think about all the people who are supporting and who have stood strong with Native, Sharonda, obviously, and E, and now our new co-host, Hernando, and how great they all are. And, these people are depending on Native and believing in Native. So I'm like, we have to keep going. So that's what we are going to do, and thinking about different ways to expand and bring revenue into the company. So we're going to continue with the podcast and release the second season of Ing. And we are now thinking of new ways to grow. And since we have a lot of connections into influencers and entertainers and that realm of the world and that industry, we now want to start managing talent. This really came about because, people know that I work with influencers in my business.
I thought Ashley Harris was out of her mind for asking me to build this management team. I'm like, I have no experience. I'm not that in touch with what's going on in the industry. I'm very low-key reserved. I mean, I don't act reserved, but I'm a little out of touch. So definitely a lot of self-doubt building the team. So why did I ultimately decide to build the management team? It goes back to, I can do anything. I can do anything I put my mind to. Let's leverage the skills that are already in my toolbox in order to get the job done. And that's what I did. I had human resource backgrounds where I interviewed candidates for different things. I had, generic processes that were, when interviewing people that I had in my mind to leverage. So that's why I decided to do it, because I had some tools and I leveraged those tools.
I have people coming up to me all the time, like asking me to manage them, frankly, and, help them connect with brands and monetize their social media. I went to some managers that I know and I work with personally, and they are just not interested in working with my team, my talent, or my friends. I've tried multiple times. And so luckily, Sharonda is going to build a team of managers and bring in managers who manage people in other spaces and get them involved with management on the social media side. And we're really, really excited about it. That's going to be one vertical we have in addition to the production arm. And then also we are going to launch our membership, going to be headed up by the wonderful Sharonda. I mean, when you think about why we originally started Native, it's very clear and it all makes sense what we're doing now, because the idea is to empower executives, entertainers, influencers, creators, by giving them a voice, a community to build with, and resources. And the idea was always to provide services to our members, have members provide their services to us, just really truly building a community where everyone benefits. And that's what we really think we're doing through all these different verticals.
Sure. Thank you for the opportunity. My name is James Logan. I am from Detroit originally, born and raised. In high school, all I wanted to do was play football. Felt like that connected me to a purpose. One day I was walking down the hallway and I saw free ACT prep. And that's how I actually met Ashley. Through that program, I got accepted to the University of Michigan. My first plane ride actually ever was to the Rose Bowl, a charter jet to the Rose Bowl, to LA. It's funny enough that LA is probably like my second home now. And that really opened my eyes to a lot, right? To like different opportunities, different cultures, different diversity settings.
All right. Hello, everybody. My name is Jason Shepard. I also go by the name of Pastor J or J Shep. I am a pastor as well as a recording artist and a motivational speaker. I'm excited about the prospect of working with influencers. I believe that it's important for individuals who are going to be successful entrepreneurs to begin to build personal brands that are sustainable, that are profitable, and that are able to have reach beyond their current neighborhoods.
Branding deals and endorsement deals and stuff like that. And that's my specialty. I probably did maybe over close to $500 million in endorsement, way more than that. You know, my normal deal would be, you know, $1 million. That's my norm. Oh, you got to understand. It's like, Ms. Bradley, you know, I deal with, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, if I sign a deal and my quarterly be 700,000, you know, for each client, you know what I'm saying? So if I sign a $100 million deal, shoe deal, I get 20% of that, you know what I'm saying? 15, and I get it paid every quarterly. So I couldn't say, but to do this on a scale like that, it would have to be roughly, I mean, 6 figures for sure.
So in addition to interviewing Jason, James, and CJ, I interviewed Brian. Brian chose not to be on camera for whatever reasons, but you're not missing anything. So after the interviews of interviewing Jason, James, Brian, and CJ, I decided to go with Jason and James. Jason definitely is a visionary, great speaker, well thought out in his responses to questions and answers. James brought the corporate America processes, coaching pieces to the organization. So them two married together would have made a like spectacular team. So I didn't choose CJ and Brian for, you know, like 100 reasons, but we'll just stick to one. Sometimes the subject matter expert at something doesn't necessarily work out with a team because they get stuck in their expertise and not open to try new things. And the expectation set upon us as a startup was just not, I'm going to say not fair. I definitely do see in the future of reaching out and partnering with them, with their clients, and vice versa.
So CJ, I met him recently within the last year or so, I would say. And from what I understand, he's great. He's had some success representing athletes and assisting them with brand deals, which is amazing. But when Sharonda told me about the interview and how basically his expectation was that he would, you know, move into the social media space and make $1 million, I was very shocked and thought it was absurd. CJ said to me that he wanted to try his hand at this social media game, which, you know, an acknowledgement that he has not done that previously. So to think that you could start a field and just start by getting $1 million is absurd, frankly. So if you think about it, like the influencers that are doing those kind of deals, who would they choose? They could choose any manager they want. Are they going to choose somebody who's been doing this, has all the skills and experience and knows the business lingo? Or are they going to choose somebody who's never done it, not even once, right? So again, for him to expect to make that kind of money, whether we're a startup or been doing it for years, I thought was really missing the mark. I just got the text. I don't know if we can read that. So sorry, picking up my kid from practice. I was supposed to be home a long time ago, and anyway, I can reschedule for Thursday or during the day tomorrow. He was supposed to be done by 5.
I'm bleeping. I'm saying bleep 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 bleep. No, he did.
I'm effing up already. I know if this puts me out of contention, completely understand. Hate to waste y'all time.
You know what that says?
What?
He don't want to do it.
You don't want to do it? I probably agree.
But had you not text, well, we didn't lose 7 minutes.
Maybe that's what was supposed to happen. So before I got on this call, I spoke with Jason and he told me that I guess he thought about it and he thought that it was a conflict with him working with you going forward. He didn't think it was the right fit for him. He talked about obviously you guys' situation and you know how you left the church and all that. Didn't see it working. I think he kind of apologized for not saying it earlier, but I think he was trying to put it behind him and then he thought about it and thought that it would not work. I was trying to understand if it was because of the arrangement with you being a superior position, which he mentioned that, you know, was a thing, or if it was just an inability to move forward at all. He wanted to, I guess, leave the door open to continue dialogue to figure out how maybe it could work, but he seemed pretty dug in. So I was planning to get on here and try to figure out what to say to James to tell him we wanted to bring him on board, but now we had one manager. I really see this as a two-person thing. I don't know, at least the people that we have, I don't think that there's one person who can take this whole thing, primarily because of time commitments and so forth. But like this definitely threw a wrench at me. And now I'm trying to figure out how to completely change everything. So not feeling great about any of this right now, just to be honest.
Let me just tell you this, my belief. My belief is if someone really wants to do something, they're not going to let another person stop them. That's one. Two, I'm going to be the bigger person and I'm going to reach out because it's like work and anything else. I can fight with you on the street, but when it comes down to business and my goals, I know how to be cordial enough with you so that we can execute to get to that one common goal. I'm going to be that person and say, that's not good as a character, right? Because you're going to get those people that you have to beef with, but it doesn't necessarily mean to walk away with. So I will definitely reach out. I'm not going to apologize, but I will definitely say, hey, if you believe that there is anything that I can do to make this work arrangement work, let me know. But my decision to leave your church is not where it was meant for me to be. Maybe how I left it was bad, but that's on me, not on you. So to not be a part of a bigger picture, something that's beautiful, shame on you. Just shame on you. If you think that it's going to be a future problem for us as Native, let me know, because I don't want to hinder anything that you do.
I appreciate that. I mean, it's a messed up situation and he's not saying pick him or you or anything like that. And that's not the feeling. That's not even the position. He just removed himself from the equation. And obviously you've never done that and you're here. So there is no choice or this impacting in the future. I think if we could make this work some kind of way. I mean, to be honest, this just got sprung on me. I have to think through how I think this is impacting us and Native and whether it could work. Like you said, does he even want to be a part of it? And I see your side, I see his side. I see if somebody left something that I was doing, would I want to go work for them? Even if you did it the right way and all those things. If he just has an issue with like a reporting to you thing, I can understand from the reporting structure thing and that's how it was kind of set up. And I explained to him how that was never your intention to be involved with this and leading them. That was never mine. It got dropped because of Tony and you were nice enough to step up and help me out. And that's simply what it is. So I don't know, but I know if you talk to him and you say shame on you, that will not go over well.
I think I'm pretty diplomatic about things. I think I can say I'm disappointed that this has gone in the direction that it's gone in. And then what can I do in order to make it right? I'm not going back to that church though. But what else can I do? Because Native is all about community, is what I truly believe, right?
would you have been able to come into a situation where you were reporting to him, you know?
I said all the time, like that.
Well, you
If
were a good person.
if I didn't, I would never grow. I would never position I ever want to be if
Yeah, listen, I mean, that's a good point. You know, there's always going to be tough relationships. I think it makes you stronger when you figure out a way to work through this. I still feel like I have a good relationship with Tony, Jerry. I could still reach out with them and find a way to work with them. Okay, so let's move forward with everything else we're doing. And by the way, if I haven't told you enough, I appreciate you so much and everything you do to help and supporting me with this and going through all the ups and downs. So when Jason informed me that he did not want to move forward with Nativ, totally left us in a horrible situation because he communicated this to me 1 hour before we were set to tell Jason and James that we had selected them to work with Nativ. I was like, wow, that was a lot. And my assistant had just quit. So this was just a big blow to me. Like, it really, really hurt, to be honest. I told her basically that Jason wasn't gonna accept the role because of Sharonda. Sharonda wanted to call him and see what she could do to make it right because she didn't want to be the reason. And I really appreciate that. I respect her for doing that. That showed me that she's really committed to Nativ. And it seemed to go well enough for Jason to be open to the opportunity. So after that, Jason shot me a text that said, how much could he expect it to be, you know, to make in this role? You know, you should ask about money. It's the right thing to do. Nobody has time to work for free. People want to know before they make a decision. But the thing is, to me, just asking that question first thing was a red flag as to somebody who may not stick around. This person may be a runner and a fleer and may just be jumping from one thing to the next until, you know, if he thinks he's going to get an instant $1 million payoff. And that's not what Nativ is about. And again, although I understand, I can generally often see both sides. I can understand that you had a bad situation with someone, you don't necessarily want to work with them, but again, he was so adamant about it and didn't originally seem like, when I asked him, he wasn't willing to have a conversation or discuss or anything. And again, I'm just like, someone that rigid, I don't know if they're going to stick around or if this is the type of person that should be in the company. After, you know, going through all this with all these people, we have learned we need a certain type of person. We need someone who is going to stick in there with us. Otherwise, it's a waste of our time. So if we see any red flags, I'm starting to learn I need to pay attention to those. Cannot ignore them, no matter what my relationship is with people. I love Jason, Pastor Jay. We've known each other for years, have many mutual friends, but I can't ignore red flags anymore. Tony. There is legit something in the name Tony. Think about the co-host Tony and how he quit on us. He left us in a bad position. And now Tony, the producer, has kind of disappeared on us. When I came up with the idea for Nativ originally, Tony was one of the first people I reached out to, I wanted to work with. I had worked with him in the past in different capacities, and I thought he was great. He had great ideas. I thought he had a great business mind. He was down, and he was supposed to produce the first season of Ing, but he disappeared completely on me. And so that's how the production of the first season literally got dropped in my lap. And I didn't know what I was doing, but I made it happen. Now we come around to the second season of Ing, and Tony was definitely with us for a minute, but it got to the point where he wasn't doing what he said he was going to do. He missed all the deadlines. We had agreed on a date to film the second season of the show, and Tony agreed to the date, and then he came back and said he couldn't make that date. And so he kind of just expected the whole team, everybody else, to change the date because he couldn't make it. Ordinarily, I probably would be open to that, and I'm a team player and willing to make that happen, but he could not tell me or guarantee that if we chose another date, he would be able to make that either. So imagine everybody rearranges their entire schedules for him,
and we pick a new date, and then he still can't make it and cancels that date. And I'm like, no, I can't do that. Never mind the fact that he wasn't doing any of the pre-production work at all. It was all falling on me. And so I'm like, it doesn't make sense. Like, in business, you got to make sense. You know, we can't be dumb. So I begrudgingly said, you know, I think we got to do this on our own, and, you know, asked Tony just to step back. And in the interim, I'm like always hoping we can work together again. But I asked him to do little simple things along the way that I would think he would be, you know, welcoming, since he kind of wasn't stepping up to the plate. And the reason he gave is that he had other commitments. But I would think he would want to help us somewhat, but he never checked in. He never called me, not once, never texted me, never called to see how the filming went, never, you know, see, hey, you guys good, just want to see how things are going, not once. So it's like, how else do I take that other than like a huge middle finger? And not just for the business relationship, but also for the friendship, which I thought we had. I don't know, honestly, where we are. I don't know what else to do. I've given him every chance and opportunity. He hasn't done any of the little things that I think were simple and quick and asked of him to do. And when we look at it, it's really, I'm sorry, but it has to be said, all of the people who have left us, and a lot of times they left in, I think, ways that don't feel great. They've all been men. They've all been Black dudes. And so we're literally left now with all women and one non-Black man who are supporting us, just kind of being there and being a part of the team. And then, of course, all my team, we are all believers. And so at the end of the day, we know that God, you know, has really this all mapped up, and he is in control of everything. And, you know, I think that helps give me assurance that those of us who are here, we are all meant to be here, and we are all meant to be here for some reason. And in the end, I know it will all work out.
What's good? This is Tony tapping in, maybe for the last time, with the Native Collective. You know, it's been a process working with Ashley. It's been a joy, been some learning experiences. But Ashley definitely gonna make sure the stuff is together, that everybody's putting in, you know, the sweat equity that it takes to build a company, to build a production, to build a network like this. And I just had to come to grips and be 100 with the fact that I couldn't give the same that the team was given, and you know, it was fair. It was unfair to the process. You know, it's a good company, a good team, and something that, you know, I've been working with Ashley for the last year and a half or so, just building out the groundwork. And now that things are getting in motion, it's just a tough balance between building a company like this, like the Native Collective, and also running my own business and having the time for as much sweat equity as it takes, and also being able to take care of home and run the business and give the attention to you know, the clients that are paying. And that's a lot of you know, that's a big thing when it comes to being an entrepreneur, and also being a part of something that is you know, bigger than just you know, just your company. This is a more of a corporation, you know, that we were building. So, you know, I hate to go, but you know, we got to do what's fair. And even on top of that, with Ashley, you ain't gonna have much of a choice. You know what I'm saying? She's tough to work with, but at the same time, she's fair. So just got to be able to be there 100%, even though it's not paying yet. But that's what you got to do when you're starting something from the ground up. So, you know, it's much love. But yeah, peace. The Native Collective.
You are now tuned into Native Collective. Native Collective.